Hello, everyone, and welcome to the EU-FarmBook online training sessions. This session is going to be on API connection. It's going to be oriented more towards the member states and towards representatives at those states. But before we start this session, I would like to inform you on specific important elements. If my screen would like to do that, yes. So this is one session in a series of online training sessions. There will be other sessions. So we've already had sessions as well on the API integration, specifically oriented towards EU projects, so EU-funded projects, Horizon 2020 projects. And we also had one on manual uploading. There will be one forthcoming on batch uploading. But if you want to keep up with all of the advancements and updates on this, we suggest that you follow the QR code, which will lead you to the training sessions webpage, where you can find all of the updates. Important as well is that this webinar is being recorded, but you personally are not being filmed. This will allow us to make the recording available online quite readily. So this is why we prefer this format. Additionally, we will ask you to ask the questions you have in the chat. I will be able to receive them. And the way that we will advance is that we have Pranav Bapat from Maastricht University, who is also part of the technical team. And he will give a presentation on the API connection. Afterwards, we will be able to have a Q&A, and essentially I will basically present the questions that you have entered into the chat to Pranav, so that he can answer and we can discuss. So without any further ado, I will hand the word over to Pranav.
Thank you, Lawrence. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the online training session, part 3. I will just share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So before we go any further into this session, just one thing which I would like to clarify quickly is that this session is going to be a very technical session. If you have attended session 2, which was also a technical session, this is on the same lines as previous one. If you have attended the first session, which is on manual uploads, then this would be a bit easier, but it's okay. I will try to go in as much depth as possible, even if you haven't attended any previous sessions. Before this, we had the API integration session, which focused on Horizon projects, as said by Lawrence, and operational groups. This is more focused on the regional level, sector level EU projects. There is no difference as such between the Horizon projects. How do they integrate their data and knowledge objects into the EU-FarmBook compared to the EU sector level, regional level projects? The process remains exactly the same, or maybe there will be very few minor changes in the process, but other than that, I would say 95% is the same process as the session 2. So let's go ahead with this. So this is our today's agenda. We will see why we are doing this session, what is the goal of that. Then we will see what are the terminologies that we use in this session, because when you deal with technical aspects, you have some specific terminologies like metadata or knowledge objects, etc. The most important would be why have we built this, why are we building this, and what is the use of this API. Then I will give you a technical overview, as in what happens behind the scenes when you upload your data onto the EU-FarmBook platform. Then I will introduce you to how to use the API. It is very simple, just 4 steps, and you are done. And then I will spend most of my time in explaining how can you actually use the online API endpoints which are there, which we have made for you. And in the end, we will look at the case studies of how many projects are already using this API to transfer or send their knowledge objects into the platform. And at last, we will see that what are the next steps, if we have any questions regarding this, if you like this API, what can be improved, what else would you like to see in this API, and so on. So let's see what the goal of today's session. I will introduce the EU-FarmBook API. This API is made publicly available for anyone to use. So as long as you have the account on the EU-FarmBook platform and you have and you are either a coordinator or a contributor for that for the projects, you'll be able to use this API. I will show you what we already have, what is available already, and what are our future plans to do with this API. As I said before, I will give you the overview of our project Resilience, which they have already used this API and how they are uploading the content. As I said, I'll give you the most live overview of how this API endpoints can be used in your with your projects. And then in the end, I'll ask for your feedback, what else you would like to see there, so that we can implement and incorporate those things in our future developments. So as I said, this technical session is going to be quite technical. So what is an API? API enables two components to talk to each other in layman's words, so that there is no need for a human to do everything manually. So one component, for example, your project can talk to the EU-FarmBook without any manual intervention, or very minimal intervention, I would say. And how do you talk? How do these components talk? Using the endpoints. They're called as API endpoints. Then knowledge object. So it's a generic term used for all the materials or digital content which contributors upload to the platform. These could be in the form of videos, images, text documents, or PDFs, and so on. The entire list of the knowledge objects formats will be shown later on. And the last one is the metadata. So it is about your knowledge objects. You will have some keywords, some authors who made that knowledge object, what topic it belongs to, its a title, project name, project acronym, description, etc. are all part of a metadata. Okay, so why have we built this API? If you have attended the first session, you must have seen that it takes a lot of time to upload manually one object one by one, or one project one by one. So to reduce the time complexity and to ease the process, we have built this API. It is quite easy to use. You have your own database of your knowledge objects and the projects. Using the API, you can transfer your data to the EU-FarmBook platform. The example, as I said before, is a Resilience, which they have used this API already. This also enhances the EU-FarmBook in a way that sometimes, as I said, as I showed before, we have some metadata already, but your project or your knowledge objects can have some different metadata available for you, which may not be there in the EU-FarmBook. So to enable that, so that you can also upload some custom data that you might have, so that it also enhances the EU-FarmBook and your objects become more findable in the platform. So this is the technical overview of how this API functions, just to give you an overall idea. So you are a contributor or coordinator. We assume that you have an account on the EU-FarmBook platform. So using the API, you validate yourself first. That comes in access control in the bottom you see, so that we know that you are a contributor or a coordinator for some project. It could be of any regional level project or sector level, national level. All of your data is stored in two ways. All of your physical files, like your documents, your videos, audios, these are the files. They are stored in S3 database, and your actual knowledge objects, information, its title, description, etc., are stored in MongoDB. And you talk to these two databases and retrieve the data using these API endpoints. It is built on fast API. It is very much a fast framework so that there is not much time delay or time gap between request and response. And it is built as it is built in Python. It's quite robust. It also gives type hints. And I suggest that if you, I mean, as I said, that this is a quite technical session. If you want to use this, I suggest you should use Python for that. You can use any language of your choice to interact with this API. And let's see how to use this. As I said before, you have to first be on the platform, EU-FarmBook, authenticate yourself, then you get some access. So for example, let's say you are a contributor and you want to upload some data to the EU-FarmBook, you should have some project assigned to you. And how will you get that access? A coordinator should give you access to that project to you so that you can see that you are a contributor and have these projects access to you. After that, you upload the data. How to upload that? First is the file upload. Second one is the data upload. So you actually upload the metadata. This is the endpoint testing framework that it is built on Fast API. We will spend most of our time seeing this, and later on I will explain you how can you use this in your on your own using some programming languages so that it is easier for you to execute these operations. So the demo endpoints are available on this link. So I will now go to this link and I will show you exactly how it is done. Yeah, okay. So before using this, you must have the account on the EU-FarmBook, and you must either be a coordinator or a contributor, as I said before. So let's say you have this right now. These are the endpoints which are given to you. If you recollect from the first session, or if you know from the EU-FarmBook website, you have certain topics, you have certain languages, you have certain subtopics, then you have some categories, licenses, locations. All of this information can be obtained using this blue GET requests. So these blue things are the GET requests. So you can just open this link, click on try it out on the right-hand side, and click on execute button. You will see that you got the response as 200 is response code 200 means that it's a correct response or there is no error in it. And this is the response body. I hope you can see this much bigger. If you want me to increase my zoom level, just let me know. Okay, so these are the helpful APIs available for you. So in case if you don't know certain things, you can just come down there first and you can see what licenses are available for before uploading. So these are the licenses available. So depending on how your objects, what your object is, you can choose the appropriate license. So right now I will just show you the GUI way of how to use this. First is the API authentication token. This is the first API endpoint. You click on try it out, in which you have this syntax. This is called as JSON syntax. JSON is a very much common way of using of transferring data and using the API. It's very popular and it's quite robust as well. That's why we use JSON for this. Now, as you enter your email address and password onto the EU-FarmBook platform, same way you have to write down here. So for this demo purposes, I'm going to show you using my credentials. This is a dummy account and dummy data will be uploaded. And whatever I will upload today will be removed by end of the day. So let's say you enter this, you enter some garbage password or like wrong password. Now to execute this, to test this, you have to click on execute button. Click on execute, you receive 401, which means it is unauthorized. It said that login information is incorrect. So now I write my correct password and execute. After executing, you get this response. So these are three variables, elements: access token, refresh token, and UUID. This is a unique ID assigned to each user. And these two tokens, they change all the time. So first is access token. It is valid for 1 hour. Second is refresh token. It is valid for 1 day. So what happens is when you access this API, whatever requests you make to the EU-FarmBook, within 1 hour, you will use access token automatically. After 1 hour, this will expire, which means you have to use refresh token to get a new access token. But you don't have to do anything in this. We have already taken care of this. So you have to send just all of this to us. And depending on your token validity, we will send the appropriate response. If your token is expired, you will get the message that it is expired. And this is how the data goes to the API. That is the request URL. API public EU-FarmBook.eu and /API authentication token. This is done. This on the right hand side, if you see, besides download, there is one clipboard kind of icon. Click on this and it copies entire content into your memory. Okay. The next endpoint is the projects. So as I said that you should have some projects assigned to you. So how do you know what is assigned to you? So click on this API, click on try it out. And here you have to just paste that information which you got from the above response here, just like this, and click on execute. You see that I have got 2 assigned to me. So first is project, you get project ID, and one is the project name that you get. This is the project name, and this is a unique ID for that project. So I have got these 2 assigned projects to me, to which I'm a contributor. For example, and let's say if you make some mistake in this, let's say in the API tokens, you click on execute, you said that tokens are invalid or expired. So you cannot change these tokens. You have to use them as it is. Just undo this and execute. Now you got these 2 projects. Now, the next step is you have to actually upload some knowledge objects or files to the project, to the EU-FarmBook platform. So for that, you have these 3 options available. The last one is only validates the metadata, which is not required as such, but if you want, you can use this, because if there is any error before you upload, you will get to know beforehand. So now, how do you upload this? You have 2 things to upload. A file could be a document file, a text file, a PDF file, a video, audio, anything could be there. So click on this first API and click on try it out. So it asks for user tokens and the project ID. So let's copy these tokens. So first one is these tokens which I received from here. Just copy them, go down, let's close this for now, and paste as it is here. Don't change anything in here. And now, for which project you want to upload this file to? So you choose, let's say I choose project number 1. Copy the ID, go down and paste the ID here. Okay, so now you have got these tokens, which means that the user who is uploading and for which project is uploading to. Now you have to choose a file. Now remember that you cannot upload the same file again and again, because every file gets a unique MD5 hash. So if you want to upload the same content of the file, make sure you change the name of the file. So you choose file. I will choose one sample file. I'll show you. I have a text file chosen here, and now I click on execute. Now this file is already present on the platform. So let's see what happens when you execute this. You get an error saying that it is not uploaded because it already exists. It's already present there. So, and this is the unique hash of that file, which means you cannot upload this file. So you have to change this file. So let's say I choose a different file now. I choose a highlight, the name of the file, and execute. And it's done. You see, the response code is 200 on the left-hand side, and this is the ID that I got, which means with this ID, the file is stored in S3. And this is the name of the file which I uploaded. Now let's go down. Now comes when you want to upload the actual data about your metadata, knowledge object. Again, here you need the ID of the project for which you are about to upload the knowledge object. So the same ID we copy from here, the first ID, this one. And you paste it here. Now, the way this API expects the request body is in the JSON format. It is like this. Okay. So let's execute this first before doing any change. Let's execute this. Okay, you got this response as 422, which means there is some error. What the error is, you can see it down here. So it says for language, so string is not an allowed language, because if you see in your response here, what you sent as string. Everything is string. Language is string, database ID is string, this is string. And language has to be from these languages which we have made available on the platform. So it has to be from Bulgarian, Romanian, Croatian, Italian, from all these allowed languages. So you have to choose appropriate language. Same goes for date of completion. It needs the date in a certain format, date, month, and year format, and so on. So for everything you receive one particular error explaining that it is not correct, so you have to change that and you have to make it corrections. So let's now do it correctly. First is we need these tokens and UUID. So let's go up and copy this information which we received. Just close this for now. I'll close this for now as well. And this information, we need this. I copied this. You come down and just replace this. So you have to make sure what you're replacing everything correctly. Put it here. Next is the database ID of the file which you uploaded before. So from here, you got this response here, right? The database ID. This ID, you have to copy this. See the name, database ID, and its value. So it works in key value pairs. So what is the key? Key is the file name is the key. And of that key, what is the value? This file name, highlight.txt, is the value. Similarly, for first element, database ID is the key. This is the value. It's called as key value pair. You put it here, this ID. Now the language in which I want to put the properties as, so I will write as English. Now you have to give the title to that knowledge object. So I will just write this as test title 3, DOI, test DOI. I'm just showing you for the demo purposes. You have to write actual description and title there. Test description. Now keywords. Sometimes you can have more than one keywords for that knowledge object. So you can write those multiple keywords using comma separated values. And also keywords has to be written in double quotes. So I'll write keyword 1, double quotes, keyword 2, and so on. Now let's go down further. Now you have the creators. Who is making this knowledge object? And who is the creator of this? So I'll just give my name for now and my email address. Next is the date of completion. When was this completed? I'll just give today's date. So date, month, and year format. Now, what is the purpose of this? So now, if you don't know what is the purpose of this, just go down here and see this purposes, this blue API endpoint. Click on it, click on try it out, and execute. So this shows that this knowledge object is for what purpose. I will just say that for testing purpose, I will just see as communication. Let's copy this, close this. And purpose is communication. Now the location, from which country this is from. So I'll just write as Netherlands for now. Now category. Okay, so let's say you have filled everything here properly and you click on execute. Let's see what happens now. The response that we receive here, yeah, see, so the response which was there before of languages, database ID, completion of date, it has gone now. So now the error is for the category. It says that string is not an allowed category. It must be from these categories. Same comes for type. Same comes for topics. Okay, so you have to choose from the appropriate values which are allowed in the API. So let's now make corrections. So category, I will choose from one of these categories. Let's say I choose case study is the category. Category is value is case study. And now type is, I will say that it's a document. Type of the file. Now topics, I choose at forestry, and subtopics, I don't know yet right now what subtopics are. So I will just go down here. I will see subtopics, topics, subtopics. I choose as farming, equipment, and machinery. Copy, go up, paste it here, and license. As we saw before, license values, CC by, I write it as right now, and copy everything and execute. Let's see what happens now. So this was a response was sent to the API, and code is 200, which means it is successful. If it is successful, you will always receive the response code as 200 and this ID, which means this knowledge object is now stored in the MongoDB with this ID. Now, if you want to verify if it is stored properly or not, you can just simply log into the EU-FarmBook. Click on your icon here, your name, and click on the second option, upload contributions. And here you will see that right now what we uploaded, test title 3, it was a case study on this date, EU-FarmBook project, and who was the contributor. That's my name. These are the keywords by which they will be identified. So if you click on this, you will see what was uploaded, case study. If you remember, we added this for this topic, forestry, test title, description. If you click on this file, you will see these test contents. So if you click on this was the dummy data which I uploaded right now. And yeah, the location was Netherlands, communication as purpose, case study, 2 KB was the file size, and origin language, English. Okay. So now like this, you can verify what you uploaded. This is the actual use of the API. And this I have shown you using these endpoints. But you can automate this process and make it even more faster if you already know what you want to upload, so that you don't have to come here all the time and do it one by one. Because manual upload is very efficient method, by the way, manual upload, because in which you verify everything yourself, but it's time consuming. The next better way is to use this API, followed by if you can use this API and make your own Python scripts or any scripts you like, so that it becomes more faster. So right now, I showed you for like 15, 20 minutes this process. But once you are familiar with this process, the amount of time required to contribute your data to the platform, EU-FarmBook platform, is reduced in a split second. I will show you how to do that. Let's say you want to use these endpoints and create your own script to upload the data. So I choose Python as my favorite language to code. So here, if you can see, I have made this sample demo script just for the demo purposes, in which I have made certain functions. So this public API is the URL of this address. So API-public, I'll just go here. Yeah, API-public.eu-farmbook.eu. This is the API endpoint which we saw earlier. This is my email. This is my password. Okay, and I've stored them somewhere in my on the computer. After that, I have made this method called as authenticate, in which I use the same API. If you see /API/authentication/token, same is available here. The same API I've used to authenticate myself or the contributor, in which we pass the email and password, we pass the headers, and if the response is right, if you see, if the response is 200, it is correct. Otherwise, you get one error called as failed to authenticate. Now, second one is the get projects. As you can see here, it is API authentication projects, through which you can see which of the projects you're assigned to. Same API I've used here, and I'm passing these tokens and my ID. If the response code is 200, project retrieved successfully, and I see the project ID and project name. After that, you have to upload the file. So you write a function wherein you pass the tokens, the ID of the project, and the file path, the file which you want to upload. Again, the same API endpoint, API upload knowledge object file, same as what you saw here. API upload knowledge objects file. Right? Again, it accepts in this format, application JSON, and that's it. Now, this is not a complete full-fledged script. I have just made this just for the demo purposes, just to give you an idea how can this be used. These APIs can be used in your own way. Now, let's say I'm uploading this file. Now, this file is not present right now on my machine, but let's see how fast it is and how fast you receive the response. So now, how to run this file? Just Python and name of the file. You click on enter. That's it. See, it is that much fast. So you don't have to log into anything. So because your login details are stored just one time here, in which you retrieve. This function is run automatically to authenticate you when you run this file. So no login is required here. Just store it one time. It will work all the time. Next is the projects for which you want to upload the data to, the knowledge objects to. So for this project ID 1, I want to upload some knowledge objects. So you can choose this ID, and you can go in even more depth, so that there is no intervention. Maybe just as an idea, you can create your Excel file in which you can write all of these projects, all of your metadata in the Excel file in different columns. Keep your files ready, which means once you know that you have the data ready with you, all the files, knowledge objects, and its data, just run this script one time, and it will run automatically for all of your knowledge objects. So no need to use manual upload forms, no need to worry about anything. Now, before you use this API, one thing I would like to make clear that right now we don't have provision to delete or edit the data which you upload. So be very careful when you use these things. We are in the process of making it available to you as soon as possible. But right now it is under development. So you can only upload the data, but you can't delete or you can't edit right now. Once that option is available to you, you will be, of course, notified of that, and then you can upload, you can edit and delete your data. But right now, just be very careful when you upload the data. That's about it. How can you use this? Of course, this can be even made even more. I mean, I can even made this file is available to you if you like this way of doing it. Now let's come back to the presentation. So now, who has used this way of uploading is Resilience. So Resilience, they have used this API to upload knowledge objects, as I said, via an Excel template, which you can see that on this link. I'll just show you quickly. So this project has its own page within the EU-FarmBook platform, in which you can see all the contributions of Resilience. In this, they have used the API, which we showed you right now, to upload their knowledge objects in the EU-FarmBook. If you just click on this just for now, just to show you. Yeah, same what we saw before when I showed you the dummy data which I uploaded. The exact same way it is there of Resilience. So they made their own script. They made their own custom tailored Excel file, because every time you might have some data in some different format, or you might have some less or more data, depending on what data do you have of your knowledge objects. You have to decide accordingly. Okay. Now, yeah. So then you just use this the API which we provided and upload their objects into the platform. Now the next steps is so we would like to know what you thought about this API. Is it easier for you to use, or is it like way too complicated? Do you need some more help? Do you need some more training, or do you need some more features in this? Please let us know that we can improve our API as well. The documentation of this API will be available, is already available online, the same URL which I showed you before. And the detailed API guide on how to use this API, along with case studies and some code snippets, which I showed you right now in the Python. They will be published on the platform soon. As I said before, that new endpoints will be available soon to enable editing of your data, which you already uploaded. And yeah, the main thing is integration of LLMs endpoints to help projects automatically generate the metadata depending on your knowledge objects. And you can review that and edit before you submit. So this is like quite powerful feature. It will take some time for this, but we are working very hard on it. And last one is the analytics of your projects and your knowledge objects. Like, for example, how many visits it got, how many search happened for knowledge objects, how much time users were there on your project page, etc., will be made available soon. So that's the overview of the API connection. If you have any questions, please let me know, and we will work on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pranav. It was a very very informative presentation. Wow, I'm trying to find my own words sometimes.
Just one thing I would like to say before I forget. As I mentioned before, that sometimes you might have some custom metadata which is not available in the EU-FarmBook. For example, when you upload here your knowledge objects, this title, DOI, description, keywords. Let's say if you have some data which is not mentioned here, but you would still like to have in the platform, the last option is there, contributor custom metadata. You can use this option and enter your data inside of this in the same format, JSON format, key value pair. So that's feature. Also, we have that. That's it.
Very good, because that was also one of the questions. And maybe before I continue with some other questions, there was also a small request actually to also show the end result on Resilience's side. So in fact, if you see here, for instance, Resilience, their website is already powered by EU-FarmBook. And you can see, for instance, that they have different kinds of metadata sometimes, for instance, type of solution, which are different, and you can still use those filters, for instance, on their website. So that's quite handy. So you can see as well, for instance, these different fact sheets that are available on their website. So I just wanted to share that as well. And then in terms of questions, there's also, of course, the question, this Python script, like where will the visitors, our guests, be able to find it?
Yeah, as I said before that, we will make sure that all the helpful code snippets and the scripts will be made available on the main EU-FarmBook website, maybe in the support section, so that if you in the future, if you want to use the API, so the questions about this API endpoints will be made available in the FAQ section as well. And just below that, you will also find the code snippets or this Python scripts that you can use for your future development.
Okay. And then I think we have one more question, and then that's specifically from the individual project perspective. What is actually the real advantage of using this API compared to the simple form?
Okay, yeah, that's a very nice question. So the API, the use of API is mainly for if you have multiple knowledge objects and multiple projects for which you want to upload the data. You have to go one by one to when you upload multiple knowledge objects or multiple projects. API reduces that work and helps you streamline the process. So you make your Excel code and Python scripts just once and for all. Once you build it, in the future, if you have the exact same knowledge object in the same format, if you get, just run that script and you are done. You don't have to do anything else manual upload. But if you want to go for that manual upload, it's up to you as well. But API reduces your effort and it makes sure that you do not enter anything invalid because we have a lot of checks in place.
And I think as well, well, one of the comments in the chat is as well that you can actually still preserve a lot of your project-specific metadata.
Exactly.
Which is not the case when you do the manual uploading. So thank you for that comment as well. I want to close off with one more item, and that is actually to guide you towards the support section on our website, on the platform. So here you can see that this event is not even upcoming. It is happening as we speak. But you can find, for instance, the frequently asked questions where you see, for instance, who can actually upload the size of the limit of file size, which formats are compatible, how you can upload, also how you can become a contributor, for instance. But otherwise as well, you, for instance, have access to a metadata guide, and the metadata guide will allow you to have a better overview of some of these categories that Pranav was showing before. And if anything else fails and you're in complete disaster because you're like, what do I need to do? There's always a way to reach out to us. And that's actually through the contact form where you can select one of the different categories and we will get back to you as soon as we can. So I think with that being said, I would like to thank Pranav for being our presenter today and informing us about the API connection. And I would like to thank all of our guests for being present at this session.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. Happy.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.